Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wake Up and Dream. I am Sarah, and I'm here with Lisa and Kelly, and we have a special guest, Criss Madrigal, here as well. You might remember her from a previous episode, and she just inspired us so much. We want to get her back on for a part two, and we really wanted to dive into a little bit more about her mission and her vision for her community that she is creating. And yeah, I was so inspired by what she shared and her template for teachers, which I think should just be a standard in all schools, to be honest, because she spoke last episode about just the partnership between the expert who is the teacher and the expert of the child, which is the mother. So I just was super inspired by her. I'm so happy to have her back. Welcome back, Criss.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So do you want to just share a little bit more about your vision, about your coaching, and about the community that you're hoping to create and that you are actively creating right now?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me back. It's awesome. I feel like we can talk forever about these different things that are such a passion to us. So my vision with this coaching program that I've created, or this community that I want to build and just expand on, is being able to have a space for mothers, working moms, women, mothers who can just be able to connect with like minded people. So, through this coaching program, it is my goal to help women um, build a new mindset, a mindset that's going to allow them to very confidently be able to put themselves first. Because so often as moms, just the idea of putting ourselves first just doesn't seem right, or it's selfish, or how am I putting myself first before my child, before my spouse? But what I've came to realize is only when we put ourselves first will all our other relationships expand. And so, learning that firsthand and seeing that impact of being able to be a woman first and fill my needs only allows me to show up in such a deeper and more powerful way in all my other relationships. And so, through this community, I want to be able to empower women to be able to own that and say, yes, I am a woman first, and then I'm a mother, a wife, a daughter, a friend, all those titles. Which is
Love it.
where I came up with the idea of a woman. We are a woman and then a mom, because in this space, I obviously focus a lot on just our journey in motherhood. And it doesn't mean that this community is only for moms. It's just, where I resonate, as a lot of other women do, just being both.
And Criss, don't you think that, I mean, we talked about this just a little bit last time. We as women, like, that is like almost it's not in our DNA to put ourselves first. Like, we are the nurturers, we're the caretakers, we're the organizers, and we run the ship, right? We run the ship, and we have to make sure that everything is going great for everybody else. But oftentimes it's at our own expense, and we forget. I mean, I think of this Bible verse that I've heard since little on: love your neighbor as yourself, right? And we love your neighbor. Like, that's where we gravitate. Oh, yes, take care of this. Make sure that everybody else their needs are met, they're happy, they're content. But we forget the last part of that verse is as yourself. And that was like a huge aha for me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that part of that verse, I don't think I've ever like thought about, like it's just dropped off. And so your community is helping women to take, I mean, even to create the space in our brain
Mm-hmm.
to allow the thoughts that that's one, okay, and two, not just okay, but actually healthy, beneficial, and allows expansion and health in the other relationships that we have. So
It
powerful.
all trickles down. It all trickles down, but it starts with the
The
woman,
mama.
right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
the woman. That's right. The mighty woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
So I'm
almost too like you can't pour from an empty cup, and I never really realized that in my 20s, even my early 30s, like really how impactful that thought is. And so, Criss, I just love the idea and the passion that you have for this of empowering women, and with your niche of those moms who have the littles that have the invisible disabilities. I think that is so strong and just so brave of you to share your story for others to really connect to. And I love in the last episode, you said something about you and your husband have decided how you want to be as parents. And does that kind of go along with the mindset work that you have done, like how you want to show up? And it's almost like showing up as the mom and the dad that you want to for your children, even if you don't you can fill those shoes quite yet, but every single day do you wake up saying, this is who I want to be today
Yes.
for my kiddos? And then you're going to teach that to other women too, right? When they join your community and want to learn more of how you're balancing all of that.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you for just kind of bringing it all together because um, I think you've all said it in one moment or another. It's so hard to put ourselves first. And when we don't, it leads to, this stress and burnout and overwhelm. And going through all of that and being able to help women realize that, hey, all those things are in our mind. Like we have control over our feelings. Um, Overwhelm, you guys have all heard this, overwhelm is a choice. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that um, until I hit a moment in my life where I didn't recognize myself anymore. I was pouring myself out to everyone. I lost myself. And I remember not long ago, I even told my husband, I said, I love you so much. I love my children. I love my family. But what about me? I said, I'm pretty sure God didn't bring me to this earth just to be a mom and a wife and all these other titles. I said, it's time for me to figure out how I want to be able to step into that role that I want to be, which is
How long ago
to
was
help
that like realization for you, Criss, if you recall? Because it comes at different
I
points. And like, I feel like Kelly, Lisa, and I have also come to that realization, like we serve a greater purpose. And we had Marie Garcia on, and she had this realization as early as 11 or 12, I think, when we were speaking with her, which is incredible to me to think. I mean, at that age, I was like not thinking that big. But so in the last
yeah.
several years, I've started kind of like saying there's something missing. Was there like a point in time that you realized that you weren't taking care of yourself, that you lost yourself, and that you wanted to make this pivot? Do you recall or were there just a series of events that kind of got you to that place?
I think it's just been, I will say, a series of events. I mean, I remember vividly, this has to have been maybe a good 5, 6 years ago. I was in my car and I was at a stoplight and I'm just like, God, what is my purpose? Like, what is my purpose on this earth? I feel like I'm, I feel like I'm doing a good job at the, in all these other areas, but what is my purpose? And I kept asking myself that question. But to be honest with you, it's not until I started working on my mindset and being okay with, hey, let me just put everything on hold and ask myself that question. What do I want? And that can be a really hard question to answer. And that's where, all the different, exploration in my mind started. And it's really when I started to work with coaches at different capacities. And here we
Wow.
are now.
Wow, wow, wow. And that awakening. I mean, think of our podcast name, Wake Up and
Yeah.
Dream. And like
Yeah.
it's when we wake up to what is it that I want? What is my purpose? Independent of all of the roles that we get buried under oftentimes, like where am I in the pile, right? And I love what you said about the mindset, because I know Sarah and Kelly, we all can resonate with when we got quiet, when we surrounded ourselves with people that were like-minded in challenging to ask and encouraging us to ask that question. That community was a key piece. I know for me, I think I started to wake up when I joined direct sales, and you're surrounded with positive people that encourage you to dream and to think bigger and to explore your potential, all of that. And so I started to wake up to that. And then through coaching and the community, and that's where I think your Facebook group is going to be fire for people,
Yes.
because that's what we need. There's so much negativity. There's so much, like people are just stuck. Well, you don't have a choice. Just got to keep surviving the day, keep going. Retirement's the first time you can, maybe think about you. No, that's not true at all. And so I think about your community and the power of just being a part of it. Oh, so exciting.
Yeah, it's so good, because that's the whole key. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. However, I think it's important to do it in a space of with like-minded people. And I say that because if you try to do it alone without a community of like-minded people, you might get comments from others that are just not going to land well with you and may even discourage you. Join a community of like-minded people that's going to support you in putting yourself first, so that you can then show up in all your other relationships 1000% better. And I think all of you women can attest to that once you've been able to put yourself first, all your other relationships have grown dramatically.
Oh, I think that is just so amazing, Criss. I said it last time, but I love your heart and your passion for wanting to help these moms. So let's say our listeners have tuned in the last couple episodes and like, gosh, I feel her. I know what she's saying. I feel the same. She's talking to me. How can they work with you? How you're going to create this Facebook group so, they can all interact and ask questions, but how can they work with you? How can they connect and reach out with you? And like, I need to talk to Criss. I have questions. Maybe, I just want to learn more about how she's balancing and creating that harmony as a mom and a wife. Like, how does she do it? How can they connect with you, Criss?
Yeah. Super easy way is on Instagram, Criss Madrigal, and you guys can put it on the notes just to make sure that people don't misspell the name. It's Criss, Criss. Instagram, a quick message there. Also, my email address, Criss@crissmadrigal.com, which, will be included also there in the show notes if you could. That I think is a super easy way to connect. And we can also provide a link to the Facebook group.
I love this. You are on the cusp of, I honestly, what I believe women need. Moms, women, we just need that space. And your Facebook group is exactly that community that I think people are going to be drawn to and benefit from, because of your heart, Criss. And we just want to thank you for being with us today. Again, what a heart you have for that whoa mom. I love it. I love it. Love it. So be sure to check the show notes on how to join Criss's woman community and really tap into that safe community that is for you. It's full of positive ways and encouragement to really put yourself first, and because of that, be able to minister and really show up as that woman mom that is killing it, right? Crushing it in all her relationships. So thank you again, Criss, for joining us. And we are so glad that you took the time today to listen in. I hope you were encouraged. And until next time, we encourage you each and every day to wake up and dream.